Hello, good evening. There is lots of noise going on tonight where I am. There are musicians next door, and I absolutely love, love, love listening to them. Her voice is so angelic, and they play piano and all different types of instruments. So it's beautiful. So tonight I wanted to talk about grief and gratitude, but not just grief and gratitude. And hello to YouTube. Not just grief and gratitude, but other emotions as well. So, along my journey, I've had lots of different crises. And, when I first started to follow spiritual people, they just kept banging on about being grateful and how great gratitude is the signature of love and abundance. And if you're grateful for things, then it's like a magnet. And whilst that was good in theory, I think when you're in the middle of a crisis or when you're chronically in chronic low vibration, let's just call it that, it's really, really hard for you to be grateful. And you start to get a little bit resentful, especially when you constantly hear it. And the thing that you need to realize is that you are constantly hearing it because that's what you need to learn. And I know that sounds a little bit cruel almost, but that's it. It keeps coming up because it's what you need to learn most. And I used to get extremely triggered by it and think to myself, how am I going to get from where I am to grateful when I feel so low? And so, you know, firstly, I think you have to give yourself some distance between the feeling of grief or whatever the feeling is. If it's anger, if it's fear, if it's sadness, if it's frustration, if it's hopelessness, if it's revenge, anger, whatever. You need to give yourself a little bit of space. And the way you do that is just by stopping and taking a big, deep breath and just bringing yourself into the present moment, because you can't actually create anything positive from a lower vibration. So it's all about regulating the nervous system for starters and getting yourself in a position where you're able to see the light of gratitude. You don't have to jump straight into it, but you're able to see the light of it. And it doesn't seem so far away, because when you're feeling, like I said, in a low vibrating state, or when you're feeling like you're in a crisis, or you are grieving, or you're in anger, or any of those lower vibrating states, the first thing you need to do is put that distance between yourself and the feeling. And it's not about running from the feeling. It's about integrating the feeling into your experience and allowing it to expand and allowing yourself to release it. So it's none of this spiritual bypassing thing to say, you can go from happy to sad without recognizing, acknowledging, and dealing with your feelings. I don't think that is healthy, and I don't think that works long term myself. And coming from a somatics background, where we feel the feeling, feeling the feeling is great, and at some point we need to be able to release it. Hello. So that is what I mean by going from a lower vibrating feeling to gratitude. Hi. So if and people to then say, well, how do you do that? How do you get past the resentment? Hey, Sarah, how do you get past that resentment to start to feel gratitude without resentment when you're in a lower vibrating feeling like grief or like revenge, hatred, anger, jealousy, impatience, frustration? How do you get there? How do you start to feel, hello, how do you start to feel grateful? Because grateful, the vibrational signature of gratitude is returns to you in love and abundance. So, I've tried everything, obviously. And the way, what I feel like really works is a really simple 3-step formula, to be honest. It's not confusing, and it doesn't have to be woo-woo, and it doesn't have to be codes and all of this kind of stuff. All it really is stopping, taking that time and giving yourself the distance, breathing and letting the feeling expand within you, and then releasing it. It's not about numbing it. It's not about pushing it away. It's not about pretending it's not there. It's not about bypassing it. It's not about drinking it away. It's not about doing anything other than letting it be there and then allowing yourself to move through the feelings until you get to a better feeling thought. There's one really good scale. It's called the emotional guidance scale, and it's from Esther and Abraham Hicks. And Esther Hicks is a channeler. She channels a being, if you like, called Abraham, and she's fantastic. Anyway, they've got this emotional guidance scale, and all you really need to do is get up that scale from the lower vibrating feelings, say it's fear, grief, depression, despair. Go downstream, follow the stream. Don't try and fight against it. What you resist persists. Carl Jung's famous quote, what you resist persists. So anything you keep resisting in your life is going to keep showing up until you deal with it, until you alchemize it. And the way you alchemize it is really simple. It's just about stopping, becoming aware, giving yourself some space, down-regulating your nervous system. If you have to do that 50,000 times a day, you do that until you get really good at it. And then what happens is the vibrational set point in your own body will start to change, and it'll start to match that of gratitude. And then you'll start to feel grateful. Because when you're in grief or fear or anger, and then you're going, I'm grateful for my house, I'm grateful for my kids, I'm grateful that I have food to eat, you don't feel gratitude. You say the words, but the feeling's not there. The vibration's not there in you, because you're trying to get from that to that without giving yourself the calibration in between. And when I say calibration, it doesn't have to take you hours, weeks, days, months, years. You can get good at this and do this in seconds, minutes. So I really think that there's a misconception that we have to go through all of this pain in order to feel gratitude when we're in a lower vibrating state. And I know that to just not be true. I know it can seem frustrating when we're down there and people are saying, but you've got so much to be grateful for, especially our parents, right? You've got so much to be grateful for. And you feel that resentment. And that's absolutely valid and it's fine. But you are also creating your whole entire reality with your thoughts and your feelings. All of these spiritual practices that I've come across are really simple. They just require understanding and awareness. And then you'll get to a point and a level of awareness where it just becomes really easy. And I think sometimes we overcomplicate it with trying to intellectualize it too much. I definitely did, trying to intellectualize it too much, trying to make it more than it actually is, trying to make it harder than it is because it seems too simple to just be able to focus on your thoughts and your feelings and emit a vibration and receive feedback from the universe that that vibration is being matched. Because the thing is, we're doing it all the time anyway. It's just about becoming aware and doing it consciously, and that's where the game changes. I hope I'm not being too confusing, but it's really, really, really that simple. So to get from a lower vibrating thought or feeling like grief, like anger, like depression, like despair, like powerlessness to gratitude just requires a little bit of space, just a little bit. And repetition to be able to use little tools throughout your day to change that vibration. We can't go from A to Z in one sitting and expect everything to go smoothly. We have to keep repeating and repeating and repeating the pattern until we hardwire it in our brains and embody that, and then things start to change. So then you can look at gratitude, and you can get so good at recalling gratitude that when you are in those lower vibrating states, those feeling states in the future, that you're able to go and grab things that you're grateful for more readily, because you've done the work, you've done the calibrating, and it's more accessible to you now. So I hope that helps, because like I said, when you're in crisis, or you're in reaction, or you're in the lower vibrating frequencies, to go from those to gratitude, which is a huge leap, can sometimes be very jarring, and it can sometimes make you not want to go there at all, and you just sit in those feelings. So when that happens, stop, give yourself some distance from the feelings, take a big deep breath, literally let the feeling expand. Don't try and fight it or resist it. Let it expand, and then give it away. Give it to God, give it to golden key it, like Emmett Fox says. Just anything but keep repeating the pattern. And you'll get really, 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 really good at reaching for gratitude. So from grief to gratitude doesn't have to be a hugely long journey. So I hope that helps. Check out the emotional guidance scale by Esther and Abraham Hicks. There's also the Hawkins scale as well, which is brilliant. We'll talk about that another time. But really, if you're starting to just look at emotions and emotional work, the emotional guidance scale is good, because it gives you a sliding scale, and all it's asking you to do is reach for a better feeling thought. So all it's asking you to do, say, for example, if you're in fear and grief and depression, the next feeling up from that is insecurity. And that's actually a better feeling thought than the ones below it. And the next thought up from insecurity is jealousy. The next thought up from jealousy is hatred. The next is revenge. The next is anger. Once you get to anger, you're on your way up the scale. And at the top of the scale, there's 22 emotional points. At the top of it is joy, knowledge, empowerment, freedom, love, and appreciation. So all of the creation feelings. So you can get from 22 to 1 just by moving up that scale. So there's always a way. There is always a way. You are creating your reality with your thoughts and your feelings. Your thoughts, your feelings create a vibration. We continue to think and feel in the same way, we continue to get the same outcomes in life. But we can absolutely change that quicker than we think. Have a really great evening wherever you are, and I will see you tomorrow. Bye.